A former police officer and dispensary employees, you guys, are accused of stealing medical marijuana, you guys. That's right. A former police officer and 7 former dispensary employees are accused of stealing medical marijuana intended for patients. According to the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control Enforcement Division, 7 of the suspects worked at Green Light Dispensary in Helena. The 8th suspect was a Helena police officer. Following a lengthy investigation, it was determined the suspects, in quotes, used patient allotments for persons who were elderly, deceased, out of area, or incarcerated to create fraudulent transactions and illegally obtain medical marijuana. Monday's news release stated. The suspects also were accused of allowing those without a patient card to access the dispensary and purchase medical marijuana under legitimate patient allotments, you guys. Greg McDaniel, who was employed as a police officer with the Helena Police Department, was arrested for obtaining drugs by fraud, use of a communication device, and delivery of a controlled substance. He has since resigned from his position, you guys. April Jones, Shamika Wright, Gerald W. Jennings, Lauren Delk, Austin Delk, Taylor Perkins, and Demario Rose are accused of obtaining drugs by fraud. And ABC said the matter is still under investigation and other arrests are possible. And anyone with information in this case, a similar situation, or believe they have been the victim of allotment. It stopped going. Victims of allotment, you guys, fraud should contact the ABC enforcement at 501-682-8174 or abc.enforcement at dfa.arkansas.gov, you guys. Man, oh man, bro, they got a cop involved. Why couldn't this cop just have got his weed from seizing it off of people in the streets? Instead, he had.
I'm retired.
He's retired now, but he wasn't retired then.
No, I'm saying he could have done it if I was still active, but I'm retired. I mean, look, we like to pretend like we're shocked when we see malfeasance from people behind the thin blue line. And we love to parrot that talking point about how it's just a few rotten apples. But the truth is there hasn't been a stringent model of third-party accountability for most local law enforcement organizations for a really long time. I mean, look back on body cams. Nobody pushed back on body cams more than police unions, Jason, unions.
I'm not for unions, so I don't understand why you're stressing me on that one.
Well, my point is that those entrenched unions for police officers were the biggest opponents of body cams and additional transparency. So the idea that somebody behind that thin blue line might get corrupted or engage in behavior that's inconsistent with the core values of the department they work for, it almost is not news.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I can't believe you don't like this story.
It's interesting, but it's not surprising.
Yeah, Yarrow, you're not surprised because you're from Sebastopol area, and Rohnert Park is very famous for their cops, interdicting and stealing cannabis and money and all that stuff. So I know that you're used to that. But I agree. I mean, I don't think this is surprising. It's not shocking, but in Arkansas or whatever, it's definitely a little bit probably eye-opening for a lot of people to think, wow, this guy, our local sheriff or police officer might not be doing everything by the book. I mean, it's just like
shocking.
Shocking, not shocking, but it's funny.
I mean, I'm just wondering how many dead people are there actually in the patient register in the state of Arkansas.
I want to know who they're voting for.
Exactly.
They're all the people voting.
They're all voting red.
In Nebraska. They're all the same dead people.
They're all right. They're all voting red.
Getting the voter registration confused with the cannabis registration.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
They're not dead. They're just not smoking all their cannabis allotment, Jason.
They're not dead.
They're relieving them. Those nice people are relieving those elderly people of their burden.
And also too, like how are they're letting people in the store that are just coming in to buy weed? Man, you would think it was a hemp store. for THCA.
They just roll them in their casket, pop
These
open
guys.
that upper section, and are like, "What did you say you wanted? Gummies? Okay."
Well, in all fairness, Yarrow, I'm pretty sure if they're going to a funeral, they would be purchasing flowers.
See, that's
Not the
really
right amount of
inappropriate.
flowers.
You are denigrating the deceased. I love you, man.
Just saying. You know. Anyways.
Oh,